Let's see who to call next year. Let's try Levy CNET. Oh, it's going to be a text question. Oh, Levi. Okay.
Well, the hard boiled heavies question is actually pretty interesting.
Oh,
Um,
do the hard-boiled heavies have animals inside of them? And if so, do they have potential to be redeemed like E102 Gamma? Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, so secret lore dump. So, you know, um, when we put together the game design document for Mania, we put in a lot of extra information that doesn't necessarily, get translated into the game. Because obviously a classic Sonic game, all the cutscenes are like, no voice, pantomime actions, very basic sort of cutscenes. Um, but even when we came up with the designs for the hardboiled heavies, like technically the backstory, because it also ties into this Phantom Ruby object, which immediately was like kind of difficult to understand what it was initially when because that came from Sonic Forces and we didn't have a lot of details about what Sonic Forces was. They just wanted to kind of tie the two games together. And, you know, the initial thing was like, oh, would you be interested in putting this character Infinite in Sonic Mania? And they didn't show us what he ended up looking like. And so we're like, well, whatever this is, this going to be a big kind of mythical being like Chaos or something, or is it like what is it? And then we got a document about the Phantom Ruby, which was like a gemstone that reacts to people's like sense of being or will or something. And so my interpretation of it is like if the Chaos Emeralds are sort of like the what's the phrase from Sonic Adventure? It's like chaos is power enriched by the heart or something, which is like, I guess it's like whatever the kind of, it either kind of amplifies a character's sense of good or evil. So like Chaos gets powerful because he's like full of rage and sorrow, but then Sonic gets powerful because he's got all the support of his friends and he's like, yeah, man, I'm a cool dude. Um, but then with the like Phantom Ruby, I kind of thought, well, what if it's like power enriched by the mind? And so it's like basically, at least in the Sonic Mania universe, it's like the Phantom Ruby reacts to people's like mental personality and will. So the initial cutscene where you have the plain egg robos, they're kind of, they become the hardboiled heavies and they all have animals inside them because every badnik has animals inside them. And, naturally they have their own thoughts and personalities. And so when they dig up the Phantom Ruby and get in proximity of it, they react to it. And their personalities basically fuse with the robot's AI and override it slightly, which is why they don't always follow Eggman's command. They're a bit like corrupted. And so they, what their exterior looks like reflects their kind of personal interests and desires. So that's why we ended up with like, and we actually had animal designs for all these little characters. Like, but then, the little animals in Sonic are technically not meant to be as smart as Sonic. I don't know. They're like a different tier of animal. They don't kind of go on their own inventions and stuff. But like, at least in my head canon, it was like the one of them was like a ramen shop owner and he became like heavy shinobi, and then one of them was like a little cop. He was like the pig animal and he became a cop. So he became heavy gunner. And then there was one that the monkey she became heavy rider with Jimmy the motorbug. And then the penguin, she became because he sort of like the penguin already sort of looks like a tuxedo. We picked that animal to become heavy magician. Uh, so yeah, that's the backstory behind Hardboiled Heavies, and it was kind of there was several different backstories for Mania, like as we were kind of coming up with the pitch, and it like probably changed twice, I think. Maybe the original pitch was like a much simpler story, and then when they wanted to incorporate the old levels in the Phantom Ruby, then we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and come up with a new cast of characters to use. And yeah, that's how we ended up with Hard Boiled Heavies.
Oh, that's a very interesting backstory there. But yeah, thank you for your question there, Levi.